Hey, Battle Bill, here with another video, and today we're getting some more Ultra League Premier Cup Go Battle League battles. I do apologize, I did ask you guys the other day about balancing regular Ultra and Ultra Premier, and it's kind of been a little tight because the season, this portion of the season, is coming to an end and we're getting into Masters, but I do promise I will balance it a little bit better when we get into Masters. You will be getting more Premier content because that's just where my forte is, but I will be mixing in as many regular Masters videos as I can. Now, today's video is a special team that I want to showcase with you guys. It's one of my two go-to teams. When I hit rank 9, I started my elo around 2287, and over the course of a week or so, I gained 400 points using these two teams. One of them is today's video. The next video will be tomorrow's team. The next team will be tomorrow's video. Kind of said that out of order, but either way, I'm so excited to share them with you guys. I do apologize, I'm getting them to you towards the end of the season, but I'm pretty confident that as long as there aren't any major changes, that they'll be teams that continue to have success in seasons to come, like Season 5, Season 6, and so on. So this first team consists of Abomasnow, Ampharos, and Gallade, and if you're excited to see these battles, this team that gave me about 200 points in the course of less than a week, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's check out these battles. As you can tell, I'm also in a different location, on vacation with some friends. Might be some weird noises as I'm recording. I apologize. But jumping into this set, I'm excited to share with you guys because it's what I consider a quality set. It's easy to find a team that you like, throw together a 5-0, and then go throw it on YouTube. What kind of sets I like to upload for when I'm really liking the team is a 3-2 positive set. I only typically show you guys about 5 battles because they're easier to digest, but I like the 3-2s because they showcase the strengths and the weaknesses of the team. Getting into this first match, I got an Abomasnow on a Gallade lead, and the way I like to play this out is I like to try to get to 2 Weather Balls because the Gallades are pretty greedy, and a lot of the times the Gallades don't even throw the charge move here, but because I was at another Weather Ball, I figured I could shield. We CMP tied, they threw a close combat, which was even better, and I can get off this Weather Ball, which will force their shield, and that fly just went right into my eye. We'll just pretend that didn't happen, but either way, they decide to swap into an Empoleon, and I have a great counter swap in the form of Ampharos. They're going to get to a charge move as we CMP tie, essentially, as I get to the Thunder Punch. It's going to be a Hydro Cannon. I have no problem letting Ampharos tank this. I can pretty much leave this situation in equal shielding and also at an energy advantage because this Thunder Punch is going to land. They're definitely not going to shield this because they know it's a losing situation. It puts the Empoleon into the red, and I can commit to a Volt Switch down. So now we're going to wait for whatever mon my opponent decides to bring in. It's going to end up being a Clefable, which is unfortunate for me because my closing Pokemon on this team is Gallade, and Gallade gets hard-walled by Clefable. So I'm going to do as much damage as I can with my Ampharos. I'm going to come in with my Abomasnow. I'm going to really hope that I can get off at least 2 Weather Balls and they won't shield one of them, and I could potentially try to pull out this match. So I'm getting off the first Weather Ball. Question is it going to get a shield? It does get my opponent's first shield. I thought they would commit to a Charm Down, but they decided to swap, which ended up being a huge mistake on their end because the Gallade, even though it's going to get to a charge move, that Clefable's not really at a charge move. So I can shield this and I can commit to a Confusion down, and I don't necessarily have to worry too much about the charm damage because I'm going to get this Leaf Blade off, and it's going to get the Clefable extremely low. So this Leaf Blade is going to land. I'm going to get the Clefable into the red, and I'm going to hope that I can outpace it, Confusion down before they can throw their charge move. But it ends up being okay because the Confusion's at enough of a chunk that even though this Meteor Mash is going to come through and take out my Gallade, my Abomasnow can come in, get to another Weather Ball, and pull out this match. So even though I got kind of hard-walled in the back line closer mon wise because I technically tied on lead and then won the swap in, I was still able to pull it out just because of how spammy each of these 3 Pokemon are. Alright, getting into the second match of the set. Let's see what these leads are going to be. Technically last match, Abomasnow and Gallade is a very close lead that you got to play properly, so I wouldn't really consider that a 1 lead even though I swapped out. Getting into this next match, I definitely 1 lead pretty hard here, and they stay in with their Drifloon, so I overfarmed, and that was a slight mistake on my part because they're going to get off the Icy Wind here, which will debuff my charge move, but at least we CMP tied, so at least the Weather Ball is going to get off regardless, and 2 Weather Balls was taking out this Drifloon whether I was debuffed or not. So I'm getting off this Weather Ball here. It puts the Drifloon into the yellow. Technically that could affect me late game, but I end up getting to another Weather Ball here because they're keeping in the Drifloon, so it's essentially telling me their backline is really weak to Abomasnow. If you can avoid a fighter lead, an Abomasnow lead is an extremely strong lead. They end up bringing in a fighter, speaking of which I'm a champ, and they're going to commit to a counter down, and I don't even mind them farming me up. 1, I'm able to get off this charge move with Abomasnow, and then 2, I have my Gallade in the back, which will pretty much hardwall this Machamp, and I don't really have to worry about any of the charge moves that are going to come through. I resist both the Cross Chop and the Rock Slide, so they can throw either of them. I will commit to a Confusion Down unless they decide that they want to swap. They decide they want to swap, and they bring in their own Abomasnow. And Abomasnow in the back gives me a bit of a hard time, so I need to try and get this shield. I go for the close combat, and then I'm kind of guaranteeing that I'm going to get a shield. They decide not to shield. They want to save their 2 shields for Season 5. Huge misplay on their part. I guess they figured that was their only win condition there, but they might have had a chance. They didn't know what my other Mon was. They should have definitely shielded there, taken the shielded the close combat. Ampharos could have came in, and then I would have had a tricky situation to play out there because winning that matchup out would have really depended on Ampharos landing a Focus Blast. Alright, getting into this third match, I'm hoping to win another lead. Abomasnow wins a lot of leads in this meta. The only thing it needs to avoid are fighter leads and Charizards. Getting into this third match, we got a nice positive lead against opponent's Venusaur. They go for the immediate swap into their Clefable, and this works out really nicely for me because I can keep my Gallade away from that Clefable. So I'm able to swap in my Ampharos. I build up to 2 Thunder Punches here. I do this because 2 Thunder Punches takes exactly 5 Volt Switches, and what I try to do is throw them back to back to stop one of my opponent's quick moves or charms from coming through. It looks like I was able to pull that off there successfully. It's pretty inconsistent, which is an unfortunate mechanic in the game, and hopefully that'll stop my opponent from getting to a charge move, but it doesn't. They just get to the charge move in time, and I'm actually going to let my Ampharos go down here because I have 2 Pokemon in the back, Abomasnow and Gallade, that can handle my opponent's Venusaur pretty well, plus I can bring in the Abomasnow here and farm down the Clefable like I just did. So we're going to wait for them to bring in their other Mon. It ends up being a pretty hard wall for my Abomasnow. It ends up being a Charizard, but I'm going to send this Weather Ball through, and I'm going to swap to Gallade because the Confusion damage is going to chunk away at Charizard, and it's going to chunk away at the Venusaur if it decides to swap in. And I kept the shields because if they decide to bring the Venusaur in like they just did, they caught this move really well, I can at least shield the Frenzy Plants and essentially hope to Confusion down both of their Pokemon. So the Venusaur is coming in. I'm going to deal as much Confusion damage as possible. You can see it chunking away at the Venusaur. They're going to get to a charge move here. Luckily, another Confusion was able to get through, and what I'm going to hope is that they only get to 1 Frenzy Plant here, and they're not able to get to another charge move. I get another Confusion through. I'm at multiple charge moves. I'm going to throw the Leaf Blades because I know that Charizard has energy, and what I don't want to do is throw a Dragon Claw and then get to another Dragon Claw. So I'm going to try and get these shields, and we end up CMP time. This is 100% Dragon Claw because it would get it low enough so that they could then Fire Spin my Gallade down. Where now that we CMP time, I get this Leaf Blade off, and I'm going to hope that I can still Confusion down before they can get to another charge move. And if I'm not able to, because they're looking to try and Fire Spin my Gallade down, they end up throwing the energy. But if I'm not able to, at least Abomasnow can try to come in with the amount of health that it has and get to a Weather Ball to take out the Charizard. But this Charizard is really low, so I was able to Powder Snow it down before it was able to do anything and take the third match of the set. So what's also key about this team is it has a combination of high damage quick moves but also great energy generation. So even though I probably could have committed to a Confusion down of my opponent's Charizard there, getting off those Leaf Blades and then placing Abomasnow in that position, it was almost at a Weather Ball anyway, that would have allowed me to win regardless of how I would have played it, if I would have not thrown the charge moves or not. Getting into this fourth match, we have an Abomasnow on another Abomasnow lead here, and the way I tried to play this one out was I tried to take advantage of a broken in-game mechanic, because what you'll notice is we both have CPs of 2362 on our Abomasnows, which means both of ours are Hundos, which means that CMP is going to essentially be a coin flip. So what I'm hoping to do here is essentially piggyback, or at least that's what we used to call it back before GBL was a thing and piggybacking was more consistent, whereas now it's very random on if you can throw a charge move and your opponent gets an extra quick move through. And if you notice on my last Weather Ball, it kind of looked like they got a Powder Snow through, so I was a little bit worried about that, which is why I decided not to shield here, because I was close to the Weather Ball, but not close enough. If they would have thrown back-to-back Weather Balls, I would have ended up losing lead anyway. So I was like, you know what, maybe the logic here is to bring in Gallade, Confusion down the Abomasnow. They're going to get to a charge room, it's going to be an energy ball. I have no problem shielding this energy ball because now my Gallade has some decent energy, but not committing to that lead matchup is what's going to end up costing me the match. They bring in a Togekiss to hard counter my Gallade, then they bring in a Swampert to counter my swapping of Ampharos to hard counter my Ampharos. So it's very unfortunate. If I was able to potentially win out that lead or get that extra Powder Snow or maybe win CMP and played out that matchup to the exact one shield, I could have potentially won that and then lined up Ampharos with Togekiss and lined up Gallade with Swampert and won this match, but this ended up literally just being a match of matchups because of the fact that our back lines were just so I don't even know what the word is I'm looking for, but essentially our backlines counter each other. It just really depended on how the Pokemon were going to line up. So at this point, I don't even know why I'm shielding the Hydro Cannon that came through, because even if I was able to Confusion down the Swampert, Leaf Blade would have been singular resisted by Togekiss, and Close Combat would have been double resisted, so there was not like I had any charge moves I could have dealt here to win out the matchup, and then one Charm comes through from the Togekiss and takes out my Gallade anyway. So we currently have a 3-1 set, and I spoiled what the record of this set was going to be, 3-2, and that's because when we get into this 5th match, we run into this team's one of its hardest counters, and it's a Charizard lead. I swap into Gallade, but Gallade doesn't exactly have a great matchup against Charizard, and what I noticed after I swapped in was my Gallade has an even worse matchup because this Charizard is running Wing Attack as a quick move. I assumed there was Fire Spin, and this is dealing even more damage than what Fire Spins would have dealt, so I can't even really try to Confusion down the Charizard, and it's completely farming my Gallade down. So I should have been more aware. The issue was I don't really want to leave in Abomasnow when I see a Charizard and take double super effective Fire Spins, and at the same time the Wing Attacks were dealing super effective damage, single super effective damage to my Abomasnow. So it was not an ideal situation either way. They farmed up a bunch of energy. They're going for a charge move here. It's going to end up being a Blast Burn. Luckily, I think I was able to get my Volt Switch through before they can get off another charge move, but they still ended up winning out that matchup, so they can line up their Pokemon in the best way possible to potentially win out this match. They bring in Kingdra, and Kingdra, I don't want to say is a big weakness. Like these Pokemon can deal with Kingdra, but Kingdra's unique typing of Water and Dragon makes it take neutral from Electric, take neutral from Grass from Abomasnow, and then take neutral from the Leaf Blades that Gallade could deal, and also take neutral from Abomasnow's Weather Balls just because of its unique typing, and I think Kingdra's a great pick for Ultra League Premier. So I swap out because of the fact that they brought in a Kingdra to deal my Ampharos. It kind of told me whatever they have in the back might not want to see my Ampharos, and it ends up being a Magnezone, and a Magnezone most definitely wants to see my Abomasnow. So another big counter to this team of 3 I'm running. Magnezone does extremely well against Abomasnow. Ampharos needs to land the Focus Blast, which is not an easy task, and Gallade needs to land a Close Combat on Magnezone to beat it, and that's not an easy task either because, again, shields, and 2, Close Combat debuffs Gallade. So we're running into a lot of the hard counters of this team in this match, and it's important for you to take note of and see what some of these counters are going to be so you know ahead of time when using this team. Now, Charizard wouldn't have been as big of an issue if it didn't have Wing Attack. That Wing Attack Charizard is probably a bigger issue than Fire Spin Charizard is, just because of the fact that now it's dealing super effective damage to both my Gallade and my Abomasnow instead of just against the Abomasnow. But either way, Charizard is not an ideal mon to run into unless you can line it up with Ampharos here. Unfortunately, Ampharos is lined up with a Magnezone. They throw a Wild Charge there. They swap into the Kingdra. They Dragon Breath me down. Abomasnow's practically dead at this point. They can just Dragon Breath me down here. I could throw a Charge move, but it wasn't making a difference because they also had the shield. They get to this Octazooka. It's going to take me out, and we end up losing this match. GG's to all my opponents. We pull off a 3-2 set, but this team was still able to gain me 200 points over the course of less than a week, which is huge. So I hope you're able to take away useful information about how to properly use this team and what matchups you want to see based on the first 3 wins, and then what matchups would be weaknesses based on those last 2 losses. So I hope you guys see the value in this team. There's essentially a part 2, not to this team, but to the 400 points I gained in the course of a week. So the second team that helped me accomplish that will be tomorrow's video, and then Ultra and Ultra Premier will be done. We'll be finished with that portion of the season. We will jump into Masters. We will jump into Master Premier, and I'll probably do like 2 videos Master Premier, 1 video Masters. I'll try to make that the flow for the 2 weeks that we're in that portion of the season. But other than that, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.